Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ninja Selling Podcast. We're excited to be with you again. He's Garrett. I'm Matt. And as always, guys, if you're new to the show, go to ninjaselling.com. If you're new to Ninja Selling as well, you can learn all about it there. You can learn about coaching, which is where Garrett and I spend most of our time. We have an incredible coaching team that we get to work with that helping agents grow their business in incredible ways. You can also learn about the installations, which is the 4-day training that gets Ninja installed into you and your business. Also mastery, digital products. There's so many things that you can learn about at ninjaselling.com. And if you want to be part of a community of people who are learning more about Ninja, maybe you're new to Ninja and you're like, hey, I just want to be around some people who are exploring this with me. Come on over to Facebook. Search for the Ninja Selling Podcast. You can join our group of about 13,000 people. Garrett and I are there. The coaches are in there. Instructors are in there. It's an amazing place to be. You can ask questions, learn more. It's great. So join us there. For those of you who have heard that before, you're welcome. And welcome, Garrett. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm great, man. Fired up. Fired up.
Yeah, it's a good morning. I'm rocking and rolling now, man. All right.
Yeah. We started off a little. We had to increase some caffeine, but now we're rolling.
A little bit more rocket fuel.
We're definitely. It's going to be an amazing day. Like, watch out, guys. If you're
at least watch out for the next couple hours
until the crash. Pew! Nap time. Then it's, hey, watch out, couch.
Yeah.
All right, so Garrett, what are we talking about today, man?
Today, I had this moment the other day as I was talking with an agent that has been in the business for a while. And I said to him, I said, you have an interesting leg up in the marketplace that we're currently kind of tiptoeing into right now. And I will say tiptoeing in. And the reason I'm going to say this is because we are watching so many different cities around the United States get their own personalities and their own situations that they're dealing with right now. For many years, we've watched the exact same situation across the United States. And we are watching markets that are tiptoeing into this a little faster than others, where we're seeing a little bit more inventory show up. We're seeing properties sit on the market maybe a little bit longer. And again, I'm saying that because we still have some marketplaces where you put the home on the market and it's gone the next day. There's certain price ranges that are sitting a little bit longer while some are moving a little bit faster in marketplaces right now. But the reason I went down this path was I was talking with this agent that I have coached for, 2007. How many years is that? It's a long time.
16.
Okay, so I've coached him for 16 years, and we're talking about all the marketplaces that we've coached through. And I said to him, you've seen this marketplace before. You've been in a market like this in the past where we understand what we need to do with these clients to help guide them through the situation. We understand how we have to slow things down a little bit. We have to ask more questions. We need to be comfortable sometimes with a property that's acquiring some days and be able to have the right conversation with the client to help them know, is this a problem or is this something that we just need to kind of roll with for a second? Because it's like, with the listing going on, if you've got no buyers in the marketplace, we might have to be okay with some more days on market. If there's buyers in the marketplace, but you're the only one who's not selling or lots of properties aren't selling, well, maybe we need to figure out how to work with the buyers that are here. If you've been in the market and you've been selling real estate for over 10 years right now, you have experiences that are going to work very well, I think, in the marketplace that we're tiptoeing into. I know they will. In the marketplace we're going into right now. If you've been in it for less than 10 years, it does not mean you're out of luck.
That's it. Hang it up.
Yep. Throw in the towel. That's it. You got nothing to work with here.
No, don't do that. Please don't.
No, what it means is that instead of you sitting back and unwilling to change and unwilling to learn, like, this is an opportunity to say, look, I'm going to add a whole bunch of new tools into this tool belt and this toolbox that I have here right now. I need to strengthen some things that maybe I've never had to do before. I might have tools in the toolbox that I've never used before. I don't even know how to use them right now. This is an opportunity to take a look at what this is, start to learn some new paths, learn from some people who have been in this marketplace before, that have had properties that they listed back 10 years ago that sat on the market and it was tough to sell them. And how did they do it? There's so much to learn from the senior agents that you're working around right now. And this is an incredible time, but man, you've been in it for over 10 years. You definitely have a leg up right now. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think there's sometimes people who have, and I'm talking about people who are like ninjas, good agents, because you could also have been in the business for 30 years and really have been doing the business for the first time 30 years over.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Sorry.
For sure. But I think a lot of times, even the top agents, and when I say top agents, I mean, you're feeling good about how you run your business. This is not I do the most volume, most transactions kind of thing. Is we look at these situations and go, oh gosh, I need to totally do something different. I need to go a totally different direction. I need to, talk to ChatGPT and figure out what's the next best thing that I need to make sure of what I need to do in my business, right?
I almost spit my drink out. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for that one.
You're welcome. And you don't, right? You have experience there that you can lean on, because I believe, and a lot of people, I think, believe that real estate is a human business, right? If you want to do it at a high level, it is about the human interaction in terms of how can I help this person through this thing? And you're now going to see a lot of things. I mean, just had it this week with the client, with several different clients talking about, I got this listing that's kind of sitting. I'm like, well, how is it like really sitting? I mean, we talked about our episode on pricing. I was like, well, it just didn't sell over the weekend. I'm like, all right, great. Patience.
Yep.
A little patience is going to be really good. And then boom, those listings are under contract, right? Oh, we have to negotiate again. We did a whole episode on that. It's like, oh, right. I've done that before. I know what it's like to negotiate and ask more detailed questions to the agent on the other side, or get them to ask the detailed questions of the client on the other side. These are things you know how to do. So don't lose sight of that.
Well, it's like, okay, so I sold real estate through 2008, 2009. And it was interesting. So like when you went to go show a property back in 2008, 2009, for me to walk into a property that my buyers wanted to buy, and they're like, how many days has this been on the market? And I've been like, 300. It's been on the market for 300 days. And they'd be like, oh, wow, okay. It wasn't oh my gosh, like, what do you mean 300 days? It was just like, okay. And then we would go. And then we'd go look at the next house. How long's this one been on? 200 days. Okay. I'm not saying get okay with that, by the way.
No.
But what I am saying is that the conversation that you start to have when marketplaces are very, very, very different than where we've been. You need to approach it very differently with your clients, and you need to help them understand that we are starting to see some days on market start to accumulate. And it doesn't mean something's wrong with the property. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden this is a bad market. When you're listing a house, I mean, I remember taking 6-month, year-long listing contracts on some properties because we just didn't want to have to sit down with them and do the paperwork again to re-up the listing. Now, obviously, did we try to get it sold sooner? Yes. But I mean, there was always the opportunity of like, yeah, when there's 34 months of inventory on the market back then, yeah, there's a very good chance that we might still be here in 6 months. If we're even doing everything about as right as we possibly can, and we can sit around and be like, it doesn't make any sense. I have it priced at market value. I don't understand why nobody's buying it. Well, because you are exactly at market value. And the only things that are selling right now are people that are willing to price it under market value.
Yeah.
Like, I got it. Like, let's continue to move forward.
That's a really good skill right there, right? Like, if you've been in the business a decade, like, you've dealt with these things and you know how to have these conversations, and you know what adjustments need to be made if you slow down for a second and think about it. And this is where the newer agents, it's not that you can't do those things too. It's just that's going to be a new skill potentially for you, right? Which is actually can be an amazing benefit for the newer agents too, because you can choose to go learn what I would call the correct way, I guess, to do it, right? You know, if you have a great management team, if you have a really good ninja selling based organization, right? you got to go have this conversation. Hey, can we brush up on the seller process? Can we talk about these different things? Can we learn more about the skills I need to have in order to help my clients achieve what they want to achieve? And to do that, I need to know how to talk to them in a better way, right?
Yep.
Those new agents, if you're one of them, you have the opportunity to learn that as a skill that will then carry you not only through this market we're tiptoeing into, or does these markets come in. I should also say this too. Like, these skills are useful in every single market.
Every market.
So it's just how in depth you're going to necessarily, quote unquote, need to use them in order to help your client accomplish their goal. And right now, you can use them to really help some things happen.
Well, and so these skills, these times right now, this is going to make all of you better agents. There's a reason that a lot of agents are going to leave the marketplace right now. We're going to see a lot of people hang up their licenses. We're already watching it. And a lot of those people are the ones that are unwilling to learn a new marketplace and how to communicate with your people in a way that you're going to be successful. That's really what it comes down to. And yeah, I remember this transition when we did it last time. You would start talking to your clients, and Larry used to refer to it as walking them through the valley of the shadow of death. When you start working with anybody in the business, and primarily listings, as it took a little bit longer to sell and whatnot. And it wasn't are we going to sell and how much are we going to sell for? It was if you're even going to sell. Like Zan Monroe, who's a great instructor. I know a lot of you who listen to this probably know Zan Monroe, old friend of mine. Zan used to say, is the marketplace going to reject you as a listing? And I used to love that when he would talk about all the expired listings. It wasn't expired listings. These were rejected listings. And I was like, what a different way to start to talk about this. We're going to go and we're going to put your home on the market. And our job right now is to make sure the marketplace doesn't reject you. And we're going to do our best to help the marketplace accept what you are. Buyers are going to work with us. We're going to get you to the closing table. It's just a different mentality. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Matt, is that there's a lot of agents that don't have the experience, and they aren't willing to have these conversations. And the typical thing they would say to me, and we're going to hear it again, is, I don't want to scare them though. Like, I don't want to scare them of the marketplace. Like if I go down that path with them, they may not want to sell at all. And from selling back in that time, I used to say, good. Like, if I tell them what the marketplace is that they're about to get into and they're afraid of it to the point that they're like, I don't want to play in that marketplace, good, you're not ready to play in it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because you got to do things outside the box and you need to show up differently and you got to take this more seriously right now. And if you're not willing to do it, I can't play with you. I don't want to jump into this either. And this is where some of these tougher conversations, asking more questions, really finding what they're trying to accomplish and where they're wanting to go. This is what agents, and this is where we started this off, Matt, that have been in this business for a while, have seen these marketplaces before, have a massive leg up on the ones that haven't seen it before because they are willing to have these conversations. They've had to sit there before and tell somebody that we may not sell, and we need to be prepared for that if you want to price your property at that. And I'm just being honest with you. Like, those tough conversations come out of experiences from the past that a lot of the newer agents haven't had the ability to be able to experience.
Yeah.
And it's not that they can't do it. They just never have had to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think this isn't one of those things where if you do have that experience, like, oh, great, I can now go and compete well for listings because I can let my clients know that I have that experience. Like, no. This is an experience you show through how you do the business, right? And what a great opportunity also to bring a new agent up with you.
Oh, yeah.
Right. If you're an agent that you need some support and you're like, hey, I'm kind of busy. I would like some extra help here. I'm not sure what to do. Well, is there a new agent in your office that you can share your experience and knowledge with in exchange for providing you a little bit of support?
Gee, Matt, if I was a broker, Matt, if I managed an office and we had, like, let's say this podcast went live and people shared it around the world, I would probably take the episode that we're doing right now and have my entire office listen to it and sit in a sales meeting and say, who are my agents that have been in this business for over 10 years? And show of hands, who are the ones that haven't been? By the way, if you want to pick a mentor, everybody who's got their hands up right now is over 10 years. See if you can find a mentor in the room, ask them questions, learn from them. They've seen some of these marketplaces before. They've worked in these marketplaces before, that it's not just throw it on, get multiple offers and have the thing go away. We do need to approach it with a little bit more skill in how we're going to do this. And it's not more technology and more stuff. It's better at asking questions and setting the expectations of what's about to take place.
Absolutely.
That's mostly what it is.
That would be huge, right? I mean, gosh, for all the managers, the owners, the brokers listening out there, like, this is a great opportunity to match up some people. If you're like, hey, my new agents aren't coming up a little bit, well, how can we pair them with an experienced agent so that they can see some things? And I would say these pairings and these mentorships go as far as like shadowing, right? For listing consults, buyer consults, showings.
I think it can go as far as that. I think up front, just go have coffee.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's where it starts.
Start there. And then, yes, you can take it as far as you like feel that relationship's going to go.
Yeah. And this isn't like quid pro quo type stuff. This is just, let's help each other, right? Because it's not like this isn't a hiring assistant thing. I mean, although that can happen with these things too. But I think there's an opportunity for the experienced agents to showcase or share knowledge, I should say, with the newer agents, which is going to be huge. Like, you do this at the sales meeting, have a panel, right? Q&A panel at your next sales meeting. Hey, let me grab some of my experienced, good producers and have them sit at the front of the room while people ask questions.
And I think the biggest thing is this is not like a better than others. This is just experience. This is just
Absolutely.
What have you done business with before? It's like if I wanted to go like, ooh, I get to go drive on a new racetrack this weekend, by the way. And what they do when you go to this track, you spend a day with a professional driver who drives that track all the time. They sit in the car with you for the first day. And they teach you all the corners and where the acceleration points are and where the braking points are. Why? Because I've never been on the damn track before. Like, that's why they do it. You've never seen it before. I know the track. I've stood on the outside of it, but actually driving in it, this is like the agent that's like, I've heard stories about that marketplace in the past. Well, that's great, but you've never been on the actual track itself.
Yeah.
They put you in there with a professional, and he's going to be sitting there with me saying, you entered that corner too late. You braked too early. You didn't get on the accelerator hard enough. You need to change how you're entering into this corner. And then the second day, they go, you have now graduated. Go off on your own, young grasshopper. Go have fun. Play on the track. And that's what they get to do the second day. By the way, Laguna Seca, it's on my bucket list. I've been wanting to drive on this track since I was a child. I get to do it on Friday. I'm so excited.
That is awesome. Man, I'm jealous of that.
But that I would look at it exactly the same way. That's the experienced agent, been on the track before, been around this game, seen it all, to understand it. And the best thing you can do is pair me up with somebody like that. And I might have been driving 20 years longer than that person that's in the car. And by the way, that's one of the funniest things when you go do these driving sessions, because more often than not, the kid sitting next to me, and I mean that in the most genuine way, that I'm so jealous that there's a child sitting next to me, but I've got somebody who's in their early 20s that will beat my butt all around that track every single day because they've driven it so much. And that's what they do for a living, is they go out and drive cars all day long. There will be a young child sitting next to me that has more experience. And I think that that's the interesting thing you got to look at too here, is it's like what we're looking for is experience. This isn't an age thing. This isn't a, salty old dog has the old war stories here. I just want somebody that has seen this before that can help me through this. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so take that for what it is, I guess, right? Is if you've been in the business for a long time, you have some experience you can lean into. If you don't really know it's there, just search deep down inside yourself a little bit. You're going to find it. And if you're new, be proactive and seek somebody out who has that and just say, hey, can you share a little bit with me about your experiences in markets like this before?
Might not be in your office either, Matt. I would encourage that too. Like, you might find somebody in your town,
sure,
that you respect and you look up to and say, can I take you out for coffee? Like, I am impressed.
If you're in a deal with somebody that has that experience, or vice versa, just have the opportunity to connect. Hey, would you mind if we just chat for a little bit, grab some coffee?
Yep.
Rising tide lifts all boats. So it's not like They're not like we're recruiting each other or doing anything like this. It's just, we're all getting better together, which is going to make the industry better, which is going to help us serve people in a much, much better level.
I have also found there's really no bigger compliment than respecting somebody and asking for their advice. That is something that the majority of people out there respond very well to. So if you find an agent that has been in that scene and has seen that marketplace of the past, to sit down with them and say, I highly respect you and I'm impressed. I've always been impressed with the business that you do and how you take care of your clients. I would love to take you out for coffee. I understand the marketplace is shifting, the marketplace is changing maybe to something that we've seen in the past, and I'd love to see what your take is on it and how you approach it. You're going to learn questions and strategies and ideas and thoughts that you've never had to think about. And that's the biggest thing. You've never had to think about it. So
amazing.
Anything else, Matt?
No, it's pretty simple. I think it's a good one. There's a lot of other things we can talk about. We're going to save that for future episodes. We've got a lot of good topics that we have lined up. Some guests that we need to get on the show. We need to get that stuff scheduled.
We do have some guests. We also have some cool stuff we're going to be adding into the Facebook community for the podcast. So just keep your eyes open in there. I've been working with some of our coaches to see if we can bring some added value into your world out there. So we're going to be doing some things like Q&As and stuff like that that'll be happening in there. So if any of you out there are ninjas and you're kind of like going, what is my next step? What do I do? Not really with like coaching or things like that, but just like, I'm struggling with my next step with my database and not sure what to do with that. We're going to offer you some opportunities to have a live conversation with some of our coaches and throw some questions in there. So very excited for that. That'll be coming up here in the future. So just keep your eyes open for that type of stuff and more stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, by the time this goes live, we'll have done a little live session inside our Facebook group talking about artificial intelligence, just doing a little kind of group think kind of thing, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're doing that tomorrow. So that's going to be a great thing. Yeah, guys, make sure you get in that community if you're not in there. Facebook, the Ninja Selling Podcast. Search for it. That's where we're at.
Well, to wrap this up, Matt, thank you as always. I enjoy every moment we get to spend together, whether we're recording for podcasts or just bantering and goofing around. Sometimes, guys, we never record anything. We get best intentions, and then Matt and I just get to goofing around and talking, and we're like, well, that just blew that hour. But today we were successful, and with getting an episode out. If you want to learn more about what we're up to, you can go to ninjaselling.com. You can go on the coaching side in there. That's where Matt and I spend a lot of our time is in the coaching world with people. So you can learn about that there. We've got 30 coaches that are all different personality types that can help you get to where you want to go with your business. And again, if you want to learn more about the group that we were just talking about in the Facebook community, go to the Ninja Selling Podcast. Just search the group. You will find it. And a lot of great people in there, a lot of great interactions, Matt. I continue every day when I get a chance to communicate with some of the people in there. Good hearts, good people. I love that group and what's growing there and want to continue to see that. So thanks, everyone. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com.
There you will also find links for more information about ninja selling and coaching. Have an incredible day.